All right, babies, it's that time again. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Lord. Praise you for your name. Thank you for your beauty. Thank you for your life. Thank you for your joy. Thank you for all the good things we have in this world. Thank you for the opportunity to be used by you for your glory and purpose in this hour all across the world as we submit ourselves to you and let you move through us to have your way. Oh, yeah, baby. I don't know if you heard as I was praying, there was a red-tailed hawk screech, which is very uncommon around here. We might get red-shouldered hawks, but red-tailed hawks? That's really something. I wonder what's going on there. And so it's always good to know that every moment there's an opportunity to grow and learn. Because when we grow and learn, we are giving evidence to being alive. And that's an encouragement to those around us as well as those all across the earth. And the way of identifying that growth is by staying vigilant. To little signs of where you could see yourself doing things that you don't ordinarily do and doing them with ease. Yeah, baby. That's what Jesus does. That's why he said his yoke is easy, his burden is light. But then again, don't forget, every time you land on a truth of God and you think you've got it figured out, there's a paradox there. And you're going to have greater growth if you recognize what that is. So in this case, this is kind of an easy one to figure out. When he says his yoke is easy and his burden is light, I'm sure some of you are getting triggered in your memory somewhat and going, well, if that's the case, how come I'm feeling so burdened? If that's the case, why is there so much suffering in the world? Because there is that balance, that growth opportunity we have. Yeah, it's hard to submit sometimes because your eyes are on what's around you. And that's the problem. When you keep your eyes on the Lord as far as focusing on what he's doing in you, then you're no longer subject to circumstances, and so your actions become easy and light, like you're floating on air, so to speak. So stay vigilant and look for evidence in yourself that you're growing. And if you can't identify it, then your attention is off. Yep, just like that. Here's a little tip for you. As some of you know, I'm a musician. And my current focus is on developing my piano skills, which I like to share online. The good, the bad, the difficult, the easy, the familiar, the unfamiliar, just as a metaphor for life itself, that we be willing to put ourselves out there in life, not just in a performance setting, but in just when you're interacting with other people, you put your best self out there, which may be flawed in some ways, but the fact that you're risking to learn so that you can grow by putting yourself out there honestly, that sets a stage for others to follow suit and do the same and discover for themselves how to risk new learning and help create safe spaces to learn. Oh yeah, baby. Because if you remove the judgment, then it's safe. But as long as there's judgment in the world, then people consider it unsafe and they don't risk learning. And that's why you have the stagnancy that you see maybe even in your own life, your family's life, your friend's life, and across the world, is people are not taking that risk of learning. So one of the ways I develop my piano knowledge is I compile song sheets of material that is too difficult for me to pick up just by using my ears. I wouldn't say most, but I'd say a lot of things I can just pick up by ear, and that's why sometimes you'll see me fumbling through a song or something, and that's because I'm somewhat familiar with it, but I know enough of it that I can do something with the song. But then I have these two notebooks that are thick. You know, they're like probably 6 inches of paper of songs that are more too difficult for me to do anything reasonable with just my ears. So I need the music in front of me. And then every so often, as I go through it alphabetically, I'll come across a song that I don't need the sheet music anymore. My ears have developed enough and my fingers have matched my hearing, so I don't need the sheet anymore. And it's so satisfying to just take that sheet of paper out and put it in the trash. And so that big stack of material gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And so I'm just using that as a metaphor for your own character development. As you notice yourself clinging to the Lord throughout the day, you'll notice that you need less and less and less calling out to Him, because your second nature, so to speak, is just being activated to stay in step with God. And that's very encouraging, because you know it's not you doing it, it's God doing it through you. But the paradox is, you have to submit. He's not going to do it for you. You have to be looking for him and submitting for him, and watch what he does.